hymns.
Welcome everybody to our webinar today. We're going to cover some time-saving features on BrailleSense U2. So presenting today, and you can see on the video screen if you've got the window open on your computer, that's Lewis is on the video screen. He's going to be our main presenter today, and he's assisted by Damien, who we've recently acquired from another company. So some of you may be familiar with Damien tinkering. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and let you get started, Lewis.
All right. So I think we have quite a good presentation for you. So this is all about time-saving techniques with your BrailleSense. So probably what we want to do, and if you agree, Damien, let me know. We'll probably just want to briefly discuss why a person nowadays would use a note taker.
That sounds very good.
Awesome. So just kind of a lot of the benefits that I see is one of the things the note taker has always provided, whether it had Braille or not, was its instant on capability. So basically what that means is, you can power it on, and within, let's say, between 2 to 6 seconds, it's ready to go. So you're not waiting for a system to come up from standby like you would, say, with like a Windows tablet or you're not on a lock screen or anything like that. You just turn it on and you're ready to go, almost like somebody whipping out a pen and paper to get ready to do what they have to do. So it's an excellent tool for school or for jotting information down while you're on the go. Another reason. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, a note taker allows you to do a lot of the same tasks that somebody might do on a laptop, for example. But as you pointed out, Lewis, the instant on is a real efficiency thing. I mean, if you have to wait, for a minute or two for a laptop to boot up, you're not just going to be able to quickly jot down somebody's phone number or directions somewhere. Another thing, I mean, since we're comparing it to a laptop, is your laptop is only going to, a great laptop might give you 5 or 6 hours. They're usually more like 4 hours of battery life, and a note taker like the BrailleSense is going to give you closer to 15 to 17 hours of battery life. So again, it's those kinds of things. It's hard to be efficient if your batteries are dead and you can't use your device.
Exactly. Yep. Got some awesome points there. And then some you made me think of too when you were comparing it to the laptop is, yes, there are Braille displays, and of course we make a couple ourselves here. The thing though with those is sometimes that is a hassle. It's great if you're able to get them ready ahead of time, but if you place your laptop on standby or something of that nature, then you have to wait for the laptop to find your Braille display, and if it doesn't, you have to do a bit of troubleshooting just to get that working. So again, the note taker, because of its integrated display, your Braille is always ready to go. What we're going to cover today is we're going to look at time-saving tips. We're going to focus on especially like hotkeys and stuff. So we're going to be showing our favorite hotkeys and how to find more. And then we're going to be showing you fast and easy access to Bookshare, clutter-free web browsing and Google experience. And then we're going to also show, because this is kind of huge, especially for the BrailleSense, we can take Nimith math code and we can turn it into visual print for a sighted person to read. So it actually will show real math. It'll present real math on a sighted person's screen when they open a Nimith translated document from the sense. We're going to be showing our built-in Dropbox support. So it just makes sharing files that much easier. USBs and SD cards, those are great, but what happens on the days that you forget those? You have Dropbox right there. And then plus, with Dropbox, you can actually back up some of your stuff. So if you ever get into a jam or you know, you really don't have the excuse anymore of I forgot my homework, especially if you're using Dropbox. So we'll also be showing macros, and basically what a macro is it allows you to take time-consuming tasks, it allows you to take complex tasks, and it allows you to kind of bunch them up in 2 to 3 keystrokes and just relax and let your note taker kind of, you know, do that work for you.
And I could jump in, Louis, and say that for those of you who can remember all the way back to the days of the Braille and Speak, that was one of the really powerful features of the Braille and Speak, is that they had a macro manager. And I mean, this is, you know, something that I always wondered, you know, because from the Braille and Speak, you know, we evolved into like Braille Lights and PackMates and Braille Notes and, you know, all these other kind of devices that were stepping stones along the way, but they sort of left behind some of the real powerful features of the past. And one of the things that makes the Braille Sense U2, I think the best note taker is that not only does it have unique features that no other note taker has had, but it really brings all the strongest and best features of the past going back to the Braille and Speak. So I think this macro manager is one of those things that, you know, maybe if you didn't know about it, you should. You know, if you do know about it, it's something that we really hope that you'll take away and start to work with, because the sky is really the limit. This is going to be something that is going to really, I think, add to what you're able to do. I mean, this is where people really are able to customize what their Braille Sense does.
Exactly. I totally agree with you there. And I find even me, you know, on the job, I use macros quite a lot. And it's a huge time saver because I can do other things and just get things done that much more quickly.
So after that's kind of our preview of what we're going to cover. And our hope is that you'll gain so much efficiency and productivity with these time-saving tools that you'll have a lot more time to do the fun stuff, like check Facebook and play on YouTube, which we're not going to cover today, but those are some of the unique features that the Braille Sense offers that no other note taker on the market does.
That's right. Awesome. So why don't we go ahead, let's jump into this here. So in front of me, I have a Braille Sense U2. It is actually viewing the PowerPoint presentation, same one that you guys are looking at on the screen. So that's kind of one of the luxuries of our product here. But what I'm going to do, we're going to tour the main menu, and I kind of want to show you where some of these time-saving techniques will come into play. So I will go ahead and enable my speech here.
Voice on. File manager F.
All right, so I'm in the main menu. And so, of course, I can use my scroll keys on the bottom left or bottom right. And I want to go through this menu. So yes, I can definitely go through the menu one item at a time.
Word processor W. Document reader K. Email E. Media F. Organizer O.
And as you'll notice here, each time I go to a new menu item, it announces its name, but it also tells me the hotkey associated with the menu item. So, for example, if I wanted to quickly get into my library services submenu, which has my Bookshare download and NLS download apps, I don't have to scroll through this menu to get there. I can simply press the letter L, and the first option it comes up with is
Bookshare download E.
my Bookshare download utility. And it also has a hotkey of B, and then my NLS download has the hotkey of N. So another nice thing about this too, I'll go back to the main menu. I'll press my F1 key, and
File Manager tab.
So I'm back to the top of the main menu. So already I've saved some time instead of doing the space Z and then space L to get to the top. F1 did that. One of the cool things about the U2 is just like on a PC, I can create a new document and immediately start writing. So again, we're going back to the whole pen and paper analogy. So if I press F1,
File Manager tab.
followed by W,
Top of document.
I am now in a blank document. So I can begin writing here.
Not space. E O L O. Not dot. Period. There. Period. This is E. Period. Set. Period. Hello there. This is a test.
And so I've done that. And so I can save this. And of course, I have two ways to do this. So the quickest way, speaking of hotkeys, I can do Enter S.
Save with dialog box. File name. name30.txt. Edit combo box.
And I can type in, for example, just test message and press Enter, and my document is saved. So you're probably wondering, well, how are you guys finding these hotkeys? You know, how do you guys, you know, and if you know our user's guide is, it's about what, would you say, Damien, 600, 800 pages maybe?
Yeah, it's a lot of, it's not quite War and Peace, maybe just the peace part, but it's pretty comprehensive.
Exactly. So the manual is nice if you have leisure time and you kind of want to get down into the big details. But if you don't have the time, we offer help commands to actually get you these sort of hotkeys. So if I had no idea that Enter S was going to do a save, I can press space with H from just about anywhere on the device. And I am brought to some menu items here. And so I know that because of my past experience on a Windows computer, I know that typically Save As is under my File menu. So if I hit Enter,
create new document, Enter S, that's 1, 3, 4, 5.
I can see that Enter In gets me a new document. That's not what I want, so I can scroll down.
Open the word processor, backspace O,
that's not what I want.
Open document, Enter O, save document, Enter S, that's 2, 3, 4.
So there's my saved document, Enter S. So again, I can close my help, and then if I modify the document and do Enter S,
save it. Save completed.
It does the save. And all I have to do is remember that keystroke in the word processor. And that would definitely save time. Is there anything I missed, Damien, that you can think of?
Well, let me just recap here a little bit. I think everybody should notice that as soon as you launch the word processor, it put you in a blank document. So
yes.
that's like opening Word on your computer. You know, looking at what some other note takers do, when you choose word processor, it doesn't give you a blank document right away. It puts you in a menu that you then have to navigate and choose, do you want to open a document? Do you want to create a document? It forces you to go through and name your document. So there's, you know, several steps you have to go through. So again, just out of the box efficiency, it's nice if you just want to, you know, do something real quick that you're right in that document. And then, again, we're talking about all these hotkeys, which are advanced features, but everything is menu-driven. So following kind of the Windows and computer analogy, we're in the word processor. We can always open up the menu and just scroll down to see what's there, and we're learning hotkeys as we go. So the stuff that you use a lot, you're very quickly going to pick up those hotkeys so that, you know, once you've done this 2 or 3 times, you don't always need to go to the menu. You can then just start to incorporate these hotkeys. So everyone will build their own list of favorite hotkeys as you perform the tasks that you do on a daily basis.
Well said. And then for those of you who don't know, so in that, because we're set up too like a Windows system, the other way to access the menu is you can press F2 or function key 2, which acts as your Alt key on the Braille Sense. So this is the same as getting into a menu bar. So I'll kind of show that now. And then I can kind of scroll through this. So probably another common task I'd be looking for is the spell checker. And so again, from my past experience of Windows, that's usually in the edit menu, so I'll arrow back up. And because I know that I want spell checker, I don't know what hotkey it is, so I can press enter. And then I can scroll down until I find spell check. And I see here that the global hotkey is enter K. I can, of course, press enter here to have the note taker do it for me, but if I want to save time, I'm going to remember that enter K from my document brings up the check spelling dialog box.
Cancel.
All right. Another time-saving technique that we're finding here that I actually use a lot is one of the cool things about our device is you can actually launch programs from just about anywhere. So right now, if you remember, I'm in the word processor. But what if I want to quickly get to Google search as an example? So in order to find this, I can actually do, for example, function key 1 with the letter U, and it will automatically launch Google search. So I don't have to go through a menu to find it. So I'll do that now just so you can see.
At A, Google search. Effectively wait. Search term, edit box.
And then I can type in what I want to search here and press enter. That's something we'll kind of get into a little later. So I'll cancel my Google search for now, and I'll end up back in the word processor.
At A, word processor.
And so I am back in the document that I had open here. Kind of the same idea. If I wanted my email, I can do F1 with the letter E.
At A, email. Open inbox.
And it immediately will open my inbox.
Subject, read, Braille menu, new Braille display there, already for 150.
All right, and so I'll close my email and be right back into my document.
At A, word processor. Voice off.
So these hotkeys are almost like little commands that just teleport you from one task on the Braille Sense to another task. So again, the beginner always has the menus. I mean, if you're learning the device, you can always scroll through a menu and you're going to basically find how things are organized and start to learn some letters that will accelerate your pace. But then, so that's kind of like you're crawling, and then as you learn these individual letters, it's like walking. And then when you learn these hotkeys that are in combination with the function keys, then it's really when you start to run or just like almost leap from one place to the other. So I guess this raises the question of where do people go for, so we don't have to go through the 600 pages of the menu. What's the quick place where we can find all of these hotkeys listed that we can go through and find how to get from one application to another?
So again, we've got our space with H command. So if I want just these hotkeys to launch the applications, I got to get to my applications or my main menu first. So I can do that again by pressing function key 1. And I'm here at File Manager. So from here, if I do a space with H, this is actually going to give me all of the global hotkeys that work from just about anywhere. And one of those is the hotkey to launch the different applications. We also have a command summary under Help, and this actually gives the hotkeys for all of the applications on the note taker. So if I did F1 with the letter H, and then if I did the letter Y, this would actually put me right into my command summary, and it will give me every single hotkey imaginable on the YouTube for all of the applications that we offer.
Another thing I'd like to point out, because I've found this very helpful, the files in the help system are text documents. So for example, you could go into this command summary, you could easily copy and paste that into a word processor and save that command summary, and then you could email it to somebody, you could save it on a thumb drive, or even upload it on Dropbox, which we'll be covering later. But that just makes it you know, very efficient to study and familiarize yourself with.
Yes, exactly. Good point, too. Very cool. So, Damien, if there's anything I missed, go ahead and interject. Otherwise, we should probably take a look at how easy it is to download books using our Bookshare download utility.
Absolutely, and this was one of the things that impressed me so much coming to the Braille Sense as a new user, because I've certainly struggled both as a user and as a trainer to get through the web interface. I mean, there's just so many steps to signing in and finding the search box and getting to these things on other devices. So I'm going to let you do the honors here.
All right, so the quick key for getting into Bookshare from anywhere on the device, well, first you're going to find this under Library Services. So if you're still trying to get used to the hotkeys, you know, you can press F1 followed by L, and then the first option there is Bookshare Download. But if I press F1L, that is automatically going to open the Bookshare download utility. So I'll do that now. I'll do F1L.
Tab A, Bookshare download. Connected link.
Now I've already entered my user details, so it's not going to give me the sign-in dialog. But essentially what you would do is, all right, so they've signed me in, but essentially for you, what you would do is it would bring you into a login dialog, and so you punch in your email address associated with your Bookshare account using computer Braille, and then you'll press the Tab key and you'll type in your password, again in computer Braille associated with your Bookshare account. And if you tab, like I did, we have 3 checkboxes. We have Remember Me, which is my username, and then if you tab again, we have Remember my password, which is what I did. And then I tabbed a 3rd time and chose Auto Login. So to check and uncheck checkboxes, it's the space bar. So we'll probably want to check each of those boxes and then tab over to the Sign In button and press Enter. And once you're signed in, you'll get to this dialog, this Select Search Mode.
Select search mode, books, combo box.
And so I can search by books or periodicals, but I'm going to go ahead because I know kind of what book I want to look for, just to show you guys, you know, how easy this is. I will press Tab because I want to search for books.
Select search method, search word, combo box.
And I know what I'm looking for. If I didn't, I could do space.4 to see what we offered.
Category search, search full text, combo box.
So I've got 3 choices here: search full text, category search,
word,
and search word. And category search, of course, is like recent additions added, your history, and some of the other categories that Bookshare offers. But we'll go ahead and we'll stick to search word, so I'll press Tab.
Search word, enter title, author, or ISBN, edit box.
And I think I'll have some fun with it. Well, Damien, what's a good book you think I should look for?
Oh, I mean, I'm really fond of the Harry Potter series. I imagine those have got to be there.
Yeah, so why don't we type in Harry Potter,
Harry, E-O-T-E-R,
and then we'll press Enter.
search it.
And it's looking and looking.
Harry Potter and Philosophy 189, list item.
So we have 89 results, and I did all that without going through the web-based clutter sometimes that sites offer. So I can scroll through this list. I can do a space with .4.
Harry Potter bookshelf 289, list item. Harry Potter Collector's Handbook 389, Harry Potter Collector's Handbook 489, Harry Potter I Love Eco Philosophical, Harry Potter I Love Go to the next one, Harry Potter I Elvish, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter 889.
So let's say I wanted this one, Harry Potter and the Prison of Azkaban. All I have to do is press Enter,
Preparing download.
and my book is downloaded directly to my Downloads folder.
Download started.
So it's downloading the book.
4 seconds left. 8 seconds left.
So while that's downloading, of course you have a choice of what format to download your book in. So there's DAISY and there's BRF. And the advantages of choosing DAISY are that you get the most navigation options. So it's the closest experience to just flipping through pages, kind of allowing you to scan and skim, and you can set marks to jump to if there's a passage that you want to remember. So from a reading standpoint, I think DAISY offers the best experience. The BRF file, you might want that if, for example, you wanted to be able to copy and paste text from a book, say, into a book report or an assignment that you're doing. So there can be advantages to having both formats. You'll notice that all Lewis had to do was hit Enter, and it automatically started downloading that. So we're close to like 5 or 6 total steps from logging into Bookshare, searching for the book, and actually downloading it. Now, just like you have to enter your username and log in one time, you actually can go in and set your preferences. So if you only want DAISY, you can tell Bookshare, don't prompt me, don't ask me, I always want DAISY, or you can set it to only BRF. I'm not sure why you would want to do that. You have an option that it will prompt you. So if you set your Bookshare preferences to prompt, when you hit Enter, it'll ask you to choose a format. It'll say, select format. DAISY will be your primary, and then you could scroll to BRF, and then you'd hit Enter. So that adds an additional step. So just to make it clear that you, again, kind of set this up the way you want it the first time, but once it's the way that you want it, I mean, it's like a fraction of the steps to doing it other ways, because you're not dealing with all these different kind of links. And I mean, we just put you in an environment where there's only a handful of controls and they're all relevant to the task at hand. I mean, it couldn't be easier.
Exactly. And as always, if you forget any of the hotkeys here, space H will do the trick, and it will give you hotkey help. Another beautiful thing I like about Bookshare, and I actually set mine, is one of the options too is, do you want the book to be unzipped for you? So I went ahead and I turned that on. So not only did Harry Potter download, but he unzipped, and it is ready to read through the DAISY player, just because I had it set, by default as DAISY. Otherwise, you can jump into the word processor and open the BRF copy and start reading that way.
And I don't know that we need to go through this, but the NLS app is pretty much exactly the same. So the first time you go in, it gives you your you have to enter your login information. Once you've done that one time, you don't have to do it again unless something changes and you need to edit it. But it just takes you. Here's the quiz. What's the hotkey for jumping directly into the NLS download is function key 3 with the letter O. So you can always look for it in the library services menu, but if it's something you use a lot, function key 3 with the letter O will take you immediately into the NLS BARD search dialog. And again, you can choose to search by entering keywords, or you can choose category. So category search is really nice when you don't know what book you want, but you just want to explore what's there. Choose science or business, or if there's a category topic that you like, you can just scroll and find things. And there's actually ways that you can read the synopsis information for the book if you're not sure if it's something you want to read as well. But it's a really user-friendly environment.
Perfect. Totally agree. So we figured, since we're on the topic of searches and getting books and stuff, like I said, I'd kind of come back to this in the beginning, but we do offer quite a nice and useful Google search application on our YouTube. So doing this is a bit easier than even using the accessibility site that Google offers. So I'll press my F1U hotkey to launch the Google search, kind of show you how straightforward this is.
At A, Google search. Selected green ways. Search term, edit box.
And let's see, Damien, what should I look up? I was thinking something like Braille sense, but you've got anything fun you want to look for?
Yeah, let's think of something a little. How about cat?
Okay, so we can do that. So I'll type in cats using contracted Braille. Well, there's no contractions in cat, but whatever. We'll go ahead and we'll type that in.
C-A-T-S.
And I'll press enter.
Searching.
And it is actually performing a search for cats.
Title, Cat Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia 124. List item.
So one of the cool things is it will usually try to bring up the Wikipedia article first. That way you can kind of look up the meaning and the origins of a word and all the other cool stuff that Wikipedia has to offer. So if I press enter, it would actually load the quick browser and it would take me directly to the Wikipedia page. But if I want to see what other results Google has, I can do a scroll down, or I can press a space with .4, and it will just take me through all of these results.
Cat Smashable 224. List of cat notes center, cat parent information from web text 324. List items.
Now, if I needed to know, for example, Cat Help Center, what is that? If I needed more information, I could press tab.
Web veterinary experts provide.
And it looks like it's a WebMD veterinarian. So I can scroll through this details box using space and .4 again.
Web veterinary experts provide comprehensive information about cat health, their proper nutrition and cleaning tips, and help you identify illnesses in cats. URL.
And if I want to know where it found that,
HTTP, that's.web.com cat.
So that pretty much gave us a summary of what Google found. Whereas on the website, usually that's usually below the result. That is a link. So this interface is straightforward. If I were to tab again,
Search button.
I can have it perform yet another search using this cat.
Close button. Category all one search term. Cat. Then box. Title. Cat health center. Cat parent information from web. Test 324. List item.
So if I hit the search button that I was just on earlier, it would actually do a search for Cat Health Center. That way, if I wanted more relevant results to what I was looking at, I don't have to go back and type that in. And then as you heard, as I kept tabbing further, we have a category search as well. So right now that's set to all. But there is blog search, and it looks like there's news search as well. So if you want, blogs about cats, you can just bring those up. And if you just want the latest news or whatever about cats, you can search there as well. But I have all, so I'm getting a mixture of details here. So that is basically our Google search. Damien, you got anything you want to interject there?
No, I think it really speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I think the designers have really done a good job of making an interface that's approachable, it's easy to learn, you gain efficiencies as you perform the tasks that you do on a daily basis. And then we've done things like stuff that we know people want to do a lot, like searching for books or searching for the web. We've made these apps that create this environment that just really takes a lot of the headaches out of it. I mean, we all have our computers and, we can go on and, go to Google and do all this, but, it's like this takes out the ads, it takes out, all those extraneous navigation links and things, and just, takes you directly to your search box, gives you your list of results. I mean, it just is so hassle-free, and that's one of the things I love about it. So we've covered our hotkeys. We've covered some great examples of these time-saving apps that are there. But, there are times when hotkeys aren't enough, right? I mean, I think about tasks, for example, like if I want to do a custom email signature or something like that, but there's no hotkey for that, is there?
There is not. However, once again, the BrailleSense comes to the rescue with this wonderful feature of our macro manager. And so what this does is this lets us it lets you create a lengthy task consisting of however many keystrokes it takes to get the task done. But it lets you record that on the BrailleSense, and then the BrailleSense can actually perform that same task for you later. So Damien, you were talking about a custom signature on an email message?
Yeah, and I want to distinguish, of course, for those of you who've set up an email account on the BrailleSense, there is an option when you set up your account to put in a signature that it will automatically include. But I'm thinking more, maybe I have, an email signature that I want to use to my friends, but not on my work, or maybe there's different signatures that I want to include, in different situations. So the ability to, to customize what signature goes with what email, I think could be a really helpful thing.
Exactly, I totally agree. So we should probably kind of demonstrate this capability into in more detail here. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll kind of go off of what Damien said, and I will create a macro, for example, that will type out a signature that I want in my email message. So we'll go ahead and I will open my email program.
Add name, email. Open an inbox. Subject.
And then what I'll do from here is I'll go ahead and just create a message to myself.
Zoom, computer inbox.
And so the way I got there is I did Enter W to get to write new message.
L-O-U-I-S, uppercase, H-I-S-S, -I-N-C, period, C-O-N.
And that is my email, lewis@hims-inc.com. So we'll go ahead and we'll just tab to the subject field.
CC, DCC, subject, inbox.
And I'll just write
Subject.
test.
T-E-S-E, message body, multi-line inbox.
And then I'll tab to the message body. So really, I don't care about writing anything to myself, but I do want this custom signature, and I don't want to write this every time I'm in the message body. So when I'm ready to record a macro, I want to do function key 2 with the letter R.
Start macro mode, blank.
And now the Braille Sense U2 is ready for me to perform the keystrokes. Now notice I'm talking. It is not going to remember that I'm talking or that I'm not typing. It's just going to begin execution once the macro is done. So let me see. Maybe a good signature will be contact me soon. I'm having dinner. And then we'll have Beth Lewis. So I've done writing the signature, so I will save this macro. So I'll do another function key 2 with the letter R. And I can give this macro a name. So this signature, we can call it out to dinner. And I can write that in contracted Braille. And then when I press enter,
Save completed.
my macro is ready. So if I want to actually execute this, I'm going to trash this message.
Currently writing mail. Subject, read, Braille
Tell it no.
Computer inbox.
And so let's just say I'm ready to type a message. So I'll start a new one.
L-O-U-I-S, period, N. C-C, subject, inbox, subject, T-E-S-E, message body, multi-line inbox.
So again, I'm in my message body. And so maybe I want to write just a couple things here.
Message.
You know, hi again. Hi again, I will be back. Followed by enter. Now, here's where I want my signature. And already, I've forgotten what that signature said. But that's okay, because the Braille Sense will type it in for me. So to bring up my list of macros, I can press function key 2 with the letter L. And already, it actually remembers out to dinner because that was the last macro I recorded. But notice I've got 10 other macros here. And that's because, like I said, I use this feature a lot during work. But since out to dinner is already selected, I'll hit enter. And I'll just kind of stretch out here.
Executed macro, please wait. Beth Lewis.
And it's done. So I can go to the top of my message, and I can read it just to be sure everything is there.
Hi, Beth, I will be back. Contact me soon. I'm having dinner. Beth Lewis.
So notice it added that text, contact me soon, I'm having dinner. It added that to the end of, you know, hi again, I will be back. So that's kind of one of the ways already that you can see if I needed to execute this over and over and over. I don't have to retype that every time, and I don't have to go searching for a file to select it, copy, and paste it. All I got to do is type in the email address, put in a subject, and it's ready to go when I'm ready for it.
So this example, it was just entering text, but the macro can also record commands. So you can start to incorporate some of these hotkeys and different types of things. And I mean, really, the sky is the limit here. I mean, I think of like setting up email groups where you want to just send one message to a bunch of different people. That could be a great use for macro, where it just, you know, it'll enter all those addresses. You know, do you want to maybe, what are some of the useful macros that you've set up, Louis? I mean, you've got 10 of them there. I mean, maybe there's something that I might want to steal from you, some good ideas.
That's right. So one such macro that I have set up, it will actually open my daily report at the end of the day. Now, of course, I have to run it at the end of the day, but I don't have to go looking every time for my daily report. So it'll actually locate that file for me and open it, and then I can just send it at the end of the day to my managers or whatever. And I actually have a macro that incorporates both those steps. So at the end of the day, I just do F2L, select daily report, press enter, and I can go home.
That's very cool. Another thing that is really neat about macros is that we can actually share them. So, for example, I mean, I don't want to send your daily report, Louis, but, you know, maybe there would be like an email group that you might want to send to, and I've already created a macro for that. These, you notice that when Louis recorded the macro and he completed it and it said enter a name, he typed the name out to dinner, hit enter, and it said saved. So all of these macros that you write actually get saved on the flash drive of the Braille Sense under the database folder. It creates a subfolder called macros, and you'll find the file, the macro name with a .mac extension. So for example, if Louis wanted to share that macro with me, he could attach the outtodinner.mac macro to an email, send it to me. I could then save that into my database macros folder, and then when I do function key 2 with the letter L and pull up my macro list, all of a sudden there'll be a new one that says out to dinner, and I could execute that on mine. So if somebody comes up with some really clever, creative macro, they can share it with their friends, and everybody doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. Pretty powerful stuff.
Yep, so again, with macros, the sky is definitely the limit. You know, I mean, you can basically do anything. I mean, you can even do website logins if you needed to even. So that's definitely a possibility with these macros.
So maybe we'll come back to, there might be a couple other points that we'll want to mention about macros, but let's talk about the Nemeth functions of the Braille Sense, because again, I think that HIMSS has really done some innovative things and, you know, has the best Nemeth implementation out there. So do you want to talk about, do you want to demonstrate creating a short Nemeth file?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we kind of go through that? So the Braille Sense does support both UEB and Nemeth math. Me personally, I'm actually more comfortable with Nemeth. Hopefully one of these days I can push myself to learn the UEB because it is a little different. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open a new document so I can do my F1 key
File Manager tab.
And notice again, I'm in the menu. Now actually, what I should do, because that's not saving too much time, I'm going to press F1 with W.
Tab A, word processor.
And so just like that, from anywhere,
Document.
I'm in the word processor in a new document. Now, of course, if you have a document open, it's going to come back to that document. So this document right now is just blank. So I'm going to go ahead and start Nemeth mode, and you start Nemeth mode by doing backspace with the letter N.
Start Nemeth mode.
And so, let's see, I'll just do a small problem. How about, let's do 5 times 10. So we'll do that. So I'll
number sign. 5 at multi 1 0 5 multi 10.
So already you can hear I did that in proper Nemeth code, and it says 5 multi 10, and then I'll do my equals.
Period. Equal.
And the answer to
number
that
sign.
is 50.
E J.
Oops. And that was my fault.
E.
I did not drop my numbers, so of course I've confused the note taker.
Number
So
sign.
we'll do this again. After my equals sign and then space, I'll do my number sign, and I'll write my answer.
5 0.
And so now I have the machine read it back to me.
5 multi 10 equal 50.
So you can not only hear that it dictates what I've typed, but it reads it properly. So to actually save this so that I can come back and edit it for later, the first thing we want to do is we need to save this as an HBL file type, and I'll show you how to do that. So before I do a save, it's really important to exit Nemeth mode, so I'll do backspace in again,
Nemeth mode.
and I'll hit enter.
50.
So now if I wanted to, I could type regular text. So that is another powerful feature of the U2. You can definitely mix Nemeth with regular text. But I'll go ahead and I'll do a save. So I'll do my Enter S.
Save as dialog box. File name, name30.txt, edit combo box.
So I'll go ahead and just name this Nemeth test.
N-E-M-E-E-H-E-E-S-E.
And I have to enter that in computer Braille. And now I'll press Tab.
I-E-X-E, combo box.
And the type I'm going to choose is HBL.
HBM, combo box. RDM, combo box.
So I'm scrolling to it with the space and dot 4.
ERL, combo box. HDL, combo box.
So there's my HBL. So I'll hit enter.
Save it. Remote it. Nemesis.hdl open Braille.
And I'll make sure it's still correct. I'll do a space with dot 1 because remember I added an enter before I saved.
5.10 equal 50.
And so there it is there.